Communicating is an essential part of everyday life. We do it at the store, we do it at the bank, we do it at work, and now it's time we do it at school with our child's teacher. Are you ready? Welcome. Here is communicating with your child's teacher. One of the keys to successful communication is to establish a partnership between you and your child's teacher. The partnership's different than just a relationship because this means that you two are going to work together for a common good. That is the good of your child and the teacher's student. In order to do this, you must first get acquainted with the teacher. It's okay for you to ask the teacher, are they married, are they not, how long have they been teaching, where are they from, what have they done. To get a background on your teacher will help you to understand maybe more how they will run their classroom. And it's okay for the teacher to do the same for you. In fact, you should want them to. They should want to know about where the students come from, what kind of home life they have, and what they can do in the classroom to kind of keep the transition from home to school as seamless as possible. Another way that you can establish a partnership is to first understand that you two are going to be collaborating together in order to make sure that your child has a successful year in the classroom. Sometimes doing this is just understanding effective ways of communication. Some teachers prefer to only be contacted at school. Some people prefer to be contacted via email. Some are willing to give out their cell phone numbers and tell you to text whenever you have a question or a concern or an opinion. It just depends on each teacher, and this is a way for you to establish the guidelines for the best way to communicate with the teacher throughout the year. Another key to successful communication is to be respectful. In being respectful, you also need to be honest. Decisions can only be made when all the facts are known, and this is true for both sides, you as the parent and for the teacher. The information that you bring to the teacher should be honest, and the information that the teacher provides to you should be honest. Even if you think it may hurt someone's feelings or be left to be decided that maybe it's not true, the perspective of each other will help for you to find a way to communicate what is best for the child. Make sure once the teacher provides you with information that you allow yourself time to process it. You don't need to make any decisions right there on the spot, and that you can voice the method in which you wish to receive the information from the teacher in the future. Make sure the teacher knows that you can't always meet with her and that maybe emailing you is best, or that a phone conversation during the evening is the best way for you to communicate with her. Whichever way works best for you, just keep in mind that you have a moment to process whatever the teacher is telling you so that you can make the best decision possible for your child. When you speak to the teacher, speak in a neutral tone. Use correct greetings like Mr., Mrs., Doctor. Whatever the teacher's greeting title may be, you should use it. Be respectful. Use common courtesy. Say thank you. Please. Speak in a neutral, calm tone. Don't patronize the teacher because they're just there for the same reason that you are, which is to help the student. The last way that you can show respect during a conversation with somebody is to recognize that the opinions and suggestions that the teacher may have are not set in stone. Realize that this is their opinion and that it's just a way for them to voice to you another way to approach the situation in which you were being called in for. You have certainly the chance to do your own research and talk to other professionals before you make a decision about your child. The last way we'll discuss a key to communication is to speak with clear intentions. When you're having a conversation with somebody, you need to make sure that both of the parties engaged are speaking in a manner that they can both understand. If a teacher is using a term for you that you're unfamiliar with, ask for clarification. Just as if you have any kind of expertise that you're bringing to the conversation, if the teacher doesn't understand, I would hope that they would ask for clarification as well. Make sure that when the teacher asks you a question that you answer, even if the answer is that you don't know right then. It's okay not to know. In fact, this creates an opportunity to synergize with the teacher so that you guys can find an answer or find a way to determine the answer. You also need to clarify your expectations. Teachers give expectations to their students and parents, and the parent is able to give the expectations that they are hoping to receive as well. This is a way that both parties are coming together to work again towards the common goal for the student. The last way that you should have a successful communication with somebody is to begin with the end in mind. Identify what the next step is going to be in order to determine how this is going to be solved or to go along with the plan. This way, you and the teacher and the student will all be aware of how to proceed with what is going on. Listening to others is not always easy, and here's why. It's often difficult to be open-minded. Usually, people are set in their ways and in their beliefs, but it doesn't always mean that you're right or that there's not another viewpoint that you could enter into your life that would help you as well. Just because you listen, it doesn't mean that you agree. By listening, you're showing the speaker respect and understanding of their viewpoint. It doesn't mean that you will all of a sudden share their same viewpoint. Your personal filters are filled with your own values. We were raised a certain way and other people were raised different ways, and sometimes it's hard to find an understanding or a middle balance between the two. Your feelings can come into play. Are you tired? Are you anxious? Are you feeling defensive? Are you excited and energetic and having a hard time even focusing? How you feel will always come into play when you're trying to listen to somebody. We often make assumptions. We all do it. Nobody should, but we really need to focus on what's being said and not any preconceived notions that we may have. We also react defensively. It's hard to listen to somebody if you feel like you're under attack. So, let's head back to step 1 and be open-minded. This way, you won't have to act defensively. There are both verbal and nonverbal listening skills. Nonverbal listening skills include being attentive. Stop everything else that you're doing when someone is trying to speak to you and listen so that the speaker knows that you're paying attention to them. There's nothing more frustrating when you're trying to get your point across to somebody and they're busy doing something else or they're not providing eye contact. So let this person know that you're engaged in a conversation with them and that that's where your attention is also. You might be confused to how a verbal listening skill can help you when you're supposed to be listening, but they do help. Verbal listening skills let the speaker know that you understand their message. When you provide verbal feedback, you can ensure that both parties understand the message that's trying to be conveyed. For example, use bigger responses like, "I see," or "Please continue," or "I'm listening." You can also ask questions for clarification when needed, but please don't ever interrupt when somebody is speaking to you. You also can paraphrase what they said so that you can double check your understanding with them. A way to do that is simply just to say, "So, what you're saying is," or "Do you mean?" and then give an example in your own words of what you think that they're saying, so that this way you can both be sure that you're on the same level of understanding. Unfortunately, there are going to be times when people's communication skills are not as great as others. So if there's a time that you've tried to contact the teacher and the teacher's not willing to talk, or you've tried numerous times to discuss a situation that you're having with your child to no avail, then you may proceed further up the chain of command in order to get a response. But please keep in mind, Just as you would like an opportunity to share your concerns and thoughts, so does the teacher. Going above the teacher before providing them with an opportunity to be made aware of or address a situation is only going to create problems for everyone involved. The principals respect people and parents who go to the teachers first, as do other staff members. Everybody is entitled to give their input on something, and it's our job to make sure that we listen before proceeding to the next level. Here are some communication tips from teachers themselves. Let's make time to make sure that you're thoroughly able to listen to the concerns that are being brought up. If the teacher calls you when you can't give him or her your full attention, just ask that you can call them back at a more convenient time. They'll appreciate it, and then you'll actually be getting to hear the information that they have to give to you. Make sure that if the teacher gives you suggestions, that you take notes so that you can look at them later or do some more research for yourself. It's a lot easier to remember the suggestions that the teacher gives you if you write them down. Check for understanding and make sure not to interrupt. Teachers put a lot of thought into what they're going to say and to why they're calling before they make a phone call or write an email, and they want to express their concerns completely. So if you allow them to get out what they have to say by listening actively, then they will be able to get their point across fully. Make sure that you share your ideas and your expectations with the teacher too. Nobody knows your child as well as you do. So if you have a strategy or something that the teacher can use in the classroom that you know will help your child, tell them that. I'm sure that they'll be very thankful that you share that information with them. Try not to get defensive when the teacher's talking to you. They're not looking for you to blame you. They're looking for your help to resolve an issue. And lastly, don't look for a quick fix. Take time to digest what the teacher has said. Talk it over with your family. Set up a time when you and your husband or you and your child's parent can talk to each other about it. Follow up with a note or an email to the teacher if you have any concerns or any more questions, or just to see how things are going. Communicating is certainly not easy. And effective communication definitely is a two-way street. But with the right tools and our keys to successful communication, communicating can be a success.